Thank you to all the viewers who sent this in. It looks like there's a few videos making the rounds, and I kind of lost sleep over this one, so be warned. Sleuths also believe that they found more clues that Jay was set up by his friends on behalf of Tom Hilton. So don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and ring the bell so you never miss a video. So a YouTuber who calls himself a voiceover artist, Dan O'Keefe, says he viewed a video of what really happened to Jay Slater. And in this video title, he actually says, quote, "What happened to Jay Slater? We have the real story," end quote. And this might be upsetting to some viewers. I am currently working on confirming this information from him directly, but let's watch.
We've seen a video that is so bad, we will not show it here for obvious reasons. Number one, it has been verified that it's genuine. We've had this over the weekend. We've had a number of people see it. They have watched it. It's been verified and it's true. Right now, we're going to go public and tell you what happened to Jay Slater. The video shows Jay Slater was tortured so bad that he had blisters all over his right arm. Plus, he was tortured so much that he lost his sight and has no eyes. He's on the video screaming and shouting to be left out. Ayub is linked to all of this as he brought him there in the first place. But he did not torture Jay Slater. The person who did is known to both Ayub and the Spanish police. And guess what, folks? Neither did nothing to stop this happening. Take out of that what you will. We really knew this case was shocking from day one, but this has taken it to a whole new level. You wouldn't do that to any human being. You wouldn't even do it to an animal. And what that person did is well and truly shocking. Words cannot come to mind of how bad it is.
People in the comments appear to be taking this very seriously, with many pointing out the text that spoke about, quote, Brad having nightmares, end quote, about what happened to his friend Jay. So did Brad see this video? Was Brad there and saw what happened to Jay? Is that the reason why he was having nightmares? But obviously some sleuths have questioned the authenticity of this video. Like this guy, Dan, says someone verified the video. And who was that person who verified it? Was it Debbie? Because Debbie actually responded to a lot of the false clues given out in this case and said that wasn't her son Jay. And I also really question, why wasn't this video submitted to authorities? But he appeared to answer it and says that the police, quote, won't investigate. One user writes, quote, "I haven't been able to sleep thinking about that Dan saying he's got a verified video of Jay being hurt. It's just horrific. How many of you guys think it's true information? Makes you wonder about the pic Ayub put that was meant to show the three wise monkeys, and comments like the hills have eyes. If it's true that Ayub was stood watching there are no words. Evil doesn't fit. I hope Jay's family has not come across that. Either way, true or not, it's beyond heartbreaking for all involved for that information to be put out there, and no sign of it has been passed to the police." One thing that kind of stood out to me was Dan kept pronouncing Ayub's name wrong. He was pronouncing it Ayub. So I'm reaching out to confirm the video that it does get submitted to proper authorities if it is authentic. But this has been a common theme throughout this entire case. Sleuths allege that the authorities in Tenerife are corrupt and work with the Mafia there to cover up their crimes. So Dan has also alleged that one of the last people to ever see Jay alive, Ayub Kasim, a convicted substance dealer, has fled to Dublin to begin to speak to his bosses because Ayub is worried sleuths are getting too close to the truth. Another user has come forward to say that they are also in possession of a video of what happened to Jay the night he disappeared. This user very early on in the case actually said that Jay was murked with a sharp object outside of the club.
It's happened at the club outside, and then he's been taken away on a shoulder of somebody else and whisked off, basically.
Right. You see, there's a video I've got. He's in between someone's shoulder, and they're not black, not white, but dirty, dark colour. Everyone's going to be like, yeah, you don't know anything, whatever. I'm not bothered. I know what's what. I've got proof on my phone. The kid went missing. No one cares, right? They access everything. I had a message on the third day with a video. What happened? That took 10 days to come out.
Okay, so that was a bit hard to understand, but this anonymous TikTok user, I believe it's Spaniel Family, alleges that Jay was cut outside the nightclub and 2 men took him away on their shoulders. So apparently this video was also submitted to authorities, and the authorities never looked into it seriously, according to the user. But the police did take CCTV, so it kind of sounds to me like maybe the authorities are trying to cover up this information, because not only was some of the CCTV scrubbed from the webcam website, but we also learned that the staff at the NRG Rave were not allowed to speak about the Jay Slater case. So many sleuths thought it was strange Jay and his friends kept pushing this narrative that Jay was, quote, cut by a cactus, end quote, and it could potentially have been used as a cover-up, sort of like a preemptive way to hide a cut on Jay's body if he was ever found. And of course, this guy is saying that Jay was brought over these people's shoulders that did this to him and then potentially carried to that beach where that viral footage of Lucy allegedly screaming is heard. And there's this footage from outside the club that appears to show an altercation. And I personally think that that man in the black up at the top right could very well be Tom Hilton. But anyway, these people are getting into some altercation outside the club. So was this the part where Jay was cut? And I actually think I can see Jay in white up there. And then of course, there's this viral beach video where at the start you can allegedly hear Ayub Kasim's nickname, Quack Quack. Now there is a growing theory that Jay was set up as a form of revenge for the 2021 altercation of Tom Hilton. So it was revealed in now deleted Facebook posts that Debbie's home was being targeted in the time leading up to Jay going missing. I mean, this is allegedly Debbie writing this, but it has been scrubbed out, like marked out, to protect the identities and the privacy of the people that wrote this. But one can assume that this could be Debbie writing, quote, "They were going to throw acid in my face. My windows have been put through. The police have put an marker on my address due to people saying they're going to put explosives through my window." Then further down, Debbie allegedly writes, "Just to clear this up, this wasn't a random targeting. This is an ongoing feud because I'm scared for my son. Regardless of what he's done in the past, he should never have been targeted like this. And I hope they all get a long time in jail. They're absolute cowards who would never take him one-on-one," end quote. So this is clearly Debbie talking about her son being targeted by a group of men that are related to the Tom Hilton altercation in 2021. TikToker Bobs and Bits confirmed through a local on Tenerife that volunteer searchers Chris Tenerife and Luggy allegedly worked for the Mafia and planted Jay's body at the bottom of the cliff. We learned that the cliff was 500 feet, and I don't think Jay's skull would have survived from that height. I mean, it would have just been shattered. So this area that Jay was found was also heavily searched by authorities and world-class sniffer dogs for 3 weeks, and they didn't pick up Jay's scent, even though he was in the hot sun. Now we learn the coroner in the UK is the same one that did Nicola Bulley's case, who many feel was also suspicious, like Jay's, and was covered up. I mean, we learned that Jay's phone was found on the beach, but his body was found in the ravine. So if Jay had already passed in the ravine, how did his phone get down to the beach unless this was a critical mistake that whoever did this to Jay made? So at one point, it sounded like the volunteer searchers, Chris and Luggy, let what really happened to Jay slip. And just listen to this.
Basically insinuating that 4 very fit people could have carried Jay there and slung him down a ravine. Andrea Stewart, there is stuff that we know that we are not discussing just yet.
Luggy, no one carried Jay down there.
No, that's right. It's nothing to do with anyone being carried down there. It's that's the thing is, right? They can hang on it basically, because I don't mean hang with a rope. What I mean is you can wait on it, because we can't tell you. We can't tell you what we got to tell you until we're ready to tell you. But there are things that have happened over there which are absolutely ridiculous that we haven't told you yet. Basically, there are things involved.
Luggy, stop there, mate.
So it sounds to me in that conversation that they were talking about how 4 very fit men brought Jay to his final location. So who were those 4? Was it potentially Rocky, Ayub, Chris, and Luggy? Because we do find out later on that they are commenting on Ayub's TikToks that are attempting to defame YouTubers. Many people felt that Luggy and Chris were trying to clean up the narrative, similar to how Brad was trying to clean up the narrative for Lucy in that ITV interview. So Chris did a tour of his search and said Jay got off road at a point he never got off road from. Just from the final map pings that we have, Jay got off the road much further on, but yet Chris is trying to tell us Jay got off the road much earlier than he did. So Chris said Jay got off road up around here, but really Jay got off road down here. So why would Chris try to do that? Well, to me, it sounds like he's trying to match up the timelines that Lucy gave of the final phone call, which, by the way, Lucy kept trying to push back, because there's absolutely no way that at 8 a.m., if Jay had just left the B&B, Jay would have been able to tell Lucy that he was lost in a ravine. Chris also said Jay traveled in pitch black when sunrise was at 7:07 that morning, and Jay started his journey at 8 a.m., meaning it was daylight. And for the record, me and Chester don't think Jay ever made it to the B&B alive. The timeline and story of Jay's final movements there just clearly don't add up when you line up all the screenshots and call logs together. So this gang of people try to change their story multiple times to make it all work and get people to stop asking questions. But to me, what is most suspicious about Chris Tenerife was that after 3 weeks of authorities searching the area of Jay's final phone ping, it was allegedly Chris who tipped off authorities to the location of Jay's remains. This is highly suspicious to me and a lot of cybersleuths, and could point towards how Jay was carried there by a boat up the beach, since his remains were accessible from the beach at the end of the ravine. And the night before Jay's body was found, there was a disturbance in the village of Masca, and it was the same night as a Spanish versus England football match. So everybody was distracted, giving them the perfect opportunity to place Jay there. So many think Chris is a cleaner for this reason, coming out to clean up the story on behalf of the Mafia and his alleged clients, Lucy, Brad, and Tom. Because one of Jay's final Snapchats was supposed to be taken at 7:30 in the morning. But as you can see, it's dark out when it should have been light. And then we have Tom mimicking the same picture Jay took, and Tom took this photo on August 4th. And to me, it really looks like it could be the same hands. And it's kind of a very strange photo to take. Like, is Tom almost mocking the situation? Like, showing off that he got away with staging this final photo? Because Sleuth also suggests that Tom was the one that staged this photo in the car. And this photo was meant to throw off investigators and send them in the wrong direction as sort of a red herring, because Jay was already passed at this point. So Bobs and Bits alleges and speculates that Lucy, Jay's friend, paid the Mafia off to get rid of Jay. It was revealed that the target of the 2021 machete altercation, Tom Hilton, was allegedly in Tenerife when Jay went missing. Because here is Tom watching the helicopters do the rounds. And Lucy, Tom, and Brad allegedly are very close, earning Jay's trust to take him to the corrupt Tenerife and set Jay up as an act of revenge. The gang allegedly used the services of Ayub, Rocky, Chris, and Luggy to pull it all off. Cybersleuths have dug up this image of a person by the name of James. So this person, James, was a part of Jay's gang that targeted Tom. You can see James here with Jay, but then later on, you can see James again here with Tom. So the sleuth writes, well, seems another one of Jay's so-called mates, James, was at the NRG Festival. Another one that targeted Tom and is now friends with Tom. Also carried Jay's coffin. I came across this accidentally as I was searching some footage from the NRG, so I was shocked as I didn't realize I had screenshots like this. Yeah, and similar to Jay's friend Brad, he attended the event where Jay was laid to rest. So sleuths are using this as potential proof of Jay's friends banding together to delete him. Then there is Ayub's friend. So Ayub deleted his Instagram that had key clues, including this post that shows Ayub partying with an unknown man. Sleuths have identified this man as being Tom's friend as well. And there was a comment that went viral that said, quote, 6 of Tom's mates were there at the NRG Rave and lured Jay out of the club, end quote. So was Jay lured out of this club and then he was murked outside of it, carried over his shoulder, then brought somewhere where they, did what Dan said at the start of this video? So this theory that Tom uses a gang to get rid of people and Lucy is the mastermind behind it all was echoed in a different social media statement posted by another user that stated that Lucy is quote unquote dangerous and gets what she wants, and even got Tom and his gang to allegedly tamper with Tom's friend's bike brakes, which caused his friend to be unalived. And this person was named Josh Sharp, and authorities are appealing for witnesses because much like in the Jay case, there are no witnesses. And interestingly, this person, Josh, apparently had blunt force to his head, similar to how Jay did. And again, going back to how Jay fell from a 500-foot cliff, I have no idea how the coroner would be able to even get that information from Jay's head, because to me, I think it would be shattered. So an insider very early on in the case posted about how Lucy allegedly got Jay involved in selling substances at clubs. And a separate Facebook post now going viral shows that Brandon was also in on it too. So this post is about someone vacationing in Tenerife, and this user actually ended up meeting up with this dealer where they write, quote, there was approximately 3 to 4 boys in the taxi. One of the boys got out and done the deal. The heavier fella, Haji, I'm almost 100% certain that Jay was in the front of the taxi and got out and gone in the back as I done the deal with Haji. Possibly Haji has sent Jay to collect or drop off substances for him, and Jay has been caught up in an awful situation, end quote. So sleuths have pointed to this video taken around the same time Brandon, Jay, and Lucy were in Tenerife. And at first, when you guys sent this to me, I didn't think much of it until I looked at this one clip that appears to show what I thought was Jay right here, Lucy, and Brandon getting into some altercation on the Veronica's boardwalk. Let's just play that again. So it looks like the gang all there and Brandon is, throwing hands. So I went ahead and I circled what I think was Jay and Lucy and Brandon, although some people don't think this is Jay, but it is kind of startling how similar it does look to Jay, but I got told it wasn't Jay. But I'm of the opinion that this is Brandon because I actually found the image of Brandon in the club and it appears as though they are wearing the same t-shirt and it has the same stature as Brandon here. So this video kind of points Brandon out as somebody that potentially gets physical with other people if it is him. So one sleuth wrote, Ayub, the middleman, planned Jay's demise because of his contacts with Roman. Roman was watching Jay like a hawk. He ordered the glass of water. It was planned back home. I can almost guarantee with this new info about Ophelia and the college hospital, she is CEO of that, Jay's organs were ordered. That's why Roman was on his phone so bad. It's absolutely horrible. Makes sense now why they say they still have his organs for investigation purposes. It's a cover-up, end quote. So yeah, this somehow ties into the owner of the B&B, Roman, being there at the NRG Rave. They were trying to take Jay's organs, And then Debbie, in her exclusive Sun interview, said that they have to pay for more repatriation costs because some of Jay is still left behind in Tenerife. Even though his body was brought back to the UK, there's still some in Tenerife, which people think could potentially mean that Jay was harvested, which is terrible to think about. But it does kind of tie in with Dan O'Keefe's theory and that secret room in the B&B that is very sketchy. Also, there's another video out there that apparently shows Jay drinking from a champagne bottle. And this person says that he is also high on K at the same time. And I thought it was interesting that there was a champagne bottle in this room as well as this really sketchy looking figure that doesn't have a head either. And I don't know, this room just really gives me Halloween vibes. And you guys also pointed out, and same with this sleuth, that the hospital on the Canary Islands is known for actually transplants, like liver transplants and heart transplants. Let me just see here. Organ transplantation. There's a specialist there on the island. In Spain, apparently, is well known for being really good at organ transplants. Spain is actually considered a world leader in this area. And then after Jay was allegedly dragged on the beach, people actually think that they see a group of people taking white boxes onto a boat. And then, of course, we have that Maruba boat whose owner passed away a month before, leaving possibly the boat unattended and being able to be stolen. So these cybersleuths have some insane theories that I think are very interesting. And we all know something stinks about the Jay Slater case. So we're just trying to find answers. And a lot of these theories are quite compelling because they all start to line up, and maybe there's some truth there, maybe there's not. I want to hear what you guys have to say in the comments below. I have linked the petition in the description below, so please sign it to get justice for Jay. Thank you to all the sleuths who made this video possible. And if you made it this far in my video, you deserve my email, josephmorriscontact@gmail.com, because I love reading your emails and I love learning from you guys. You guys have all such brilliant minds and really keep this story going and keep me going. So don't forget to subscribe here. I love you all. Here's a treat for Gabby. She's the best private investigator on all of YouTube. No clue is too small, and she works for treats. Love you guys. Let's roll the outro. Bye.